Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My name is Bradley. Marriage is one of those things that people either romanticize or fear. If you've never been cheated on, it's easy to assume it could never happen to you. You hear stories about infidelity. Some husband catches his wife sneaking around. Some wife finds out her husband has a second family. And you shake your head, thinking, that's crazy. My partner would never do that to me. I used to think like that too. I used to believe that trust meant never even considering the possibility of betrayal. I assumed that as long as I loved my wife and treated her right, she would always do the same for me. But let me tell you something. Cheating doesn't happen because of what you do or don't do. It happens because of who they are. I learned that the hard way. I wasn't just some guy hearing a story about a cheating spouse anymore. I was the story. And the way I found out? Hang around, let me tell you how I discovered my wife's affair and what I did after. When I met Danielle, it felt like I had finally found someone who just fit into my life without effort. We started as friends, having casual conversations, shared interests, and an easy connection. But the more time we spent together, the more I realized she wasn't like anyone I had ever met. She was smart, well-spoken, and beautiful. I found myself wanting to be better, not just for myself, but for her. I had a history of being careless in relationships, letting good women slip through my fingers because I wasn't paying attention. But with Danielle, I didn't want to make those mistakes. I was intentional. I put in effort. And before I knew it, our friendship had turned into something much deeper. Dating her felt natural, like it was always supposed to happen. We just clicked. A few months in, I already knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. Some people would say that's too fast, but when you know. She matched my idea of a real partner. I wasn't going to waste time overthinking it. I proposed, and she said yes. Our wedding was simple but beautiful, just close family and friends. I didn't care about having a grand event. I just wanted to start my life with the woman I loved. And for that first year, everything felt like a dream. We were happy. People looked at us and called us the perfect couple. We barely argued. And when we did, it was nothing serious, just small things that never lasted more than a few hours. I trusted her completely. I had no reason not to. She was my wife, my best friend, the person I believed would always be by my side. If someone had told me back then that one day I'd be sitting here telling this story, I would have laughed in their face. But here we are. Most of my work is remote, so I spend a lot of time at home. It's convenient and flexible, and honestly, I like it that way. I don't have to deal with long commutes, office politics, or being stuck in traffic for hours. My work setup is simple, just me, my laptop, and a steady internet connection. Some days, I knock out projects in my home office. On other days, I work from a living room with the TV playing softly in the background. It's not a bad life. Danielle, on the other hand, works in a corporate office. She's up early every morning, dressed in her professional outfits, makeup done, hair styled, always looking sharp. She leaves around 8 a.m. and doesn't get back until at least 6 p.m. Some days, if there's an office event or she's working late, she comes home even later. We only had one car between us, which made sense at the time. Since I work from home, I rarely need to go anywhere during the day, so Danielle takes the car to work. If I need to run errands or meet someone, I just wait until she's home or use a ride service. It was a simple system, and I never had an issue with it. Most evenings, we had a routine. She'd come home, kick off her heels, and change into something comfortable while I finished up whatever work I had left for the day. Then, we'd eat dinner together, watch a show, or just talk about our day. It wasn't anything extraordinary, just the usual life of a married couple. I didn't notice anything unusual. If she seemed tired or distracted some nights, I chalked it up to work stress. If she wasn't in the mood to talk, I figured she just needed some space. Looking back, I realize now how easily I dismissed the small things. I had no idea that beneath this normal routine, something else was happening. Something that would soon rip everything apart. Anniversaries are a big deal to me. I've always believed that if you love someone, you should make them feel special, not just on random days, but especially on the milestones that matter. So, when our second anniversary was coming up, I wanted to do something thoughtful, something that would make Danielle smile and remind her how much I loved her. But instead of just handing her a gift, I wanted to add an element of surprise. My plan was simple. I would act like I had completely forgotten the date, just to see the mix of disappointment and irritation on her face. I could already picture her assuming I had dropped the ball. And then, just when she thought I wasn't going to do anything, I would let her stumble upon my real surprise. I had everything carefully planned. That morning, I'd leave a small setup in the living room to make her heart melt. A box of her favorite chocolates, a fresh bouquet of roses, and a handwritten letter telling her how much she meant to me. The letter was the most important part. I didn't want some generic, pre-written card. No, I wanted my own words. I wanted to tell her how meeting her had changed me, how marrying her was the best decision I ever made, and how even after 2 years, I still felt lucky to wake up next to her. It wasn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It was about showing her that I saw her, that I appreciated her, and that I still loved her just as much as I did when we said our vows. I was genuinely excited. Even after 2 years of marriage, I still felt that rush when I looked at her. In my mind, we were solid. We had a good life together. And this anniversary was just another reminder of that. So, as the date got closer, I made sure every detail was in place. The flowers were ordered, the chocolates were picked out, and I had rewritten my letter 3 times just to make sure it was perfect. I was ready. The evening before our anniversary, Danielle came home like she always did, dropping her purse on the counter and kicking off her heels before heading to the kitchen. I was sitting on the couch when she let out a frustrated sigh. She had forgotten one of the ingredients we needed for dinner. It was something small and easy to grab. Under normal circumstances, she would have just gone back out and gotten it herself. But she looked exhausted, and without thinking much about it, I told her I'd go. "You sure?" she asked, looking at me like she half expected me to change my mind. I nodded, grabbed the car keys, and headed outside. The moment I started the car, the Bluetooth system kicked in. It always connected automatically to whichever phone had been used last. But this time, a name popped up on the dashboard screen, a name I didn't recognize. Mike with a heart emoji behind it. I knew all of Danielle's close friends, her family, her coworkers she regularly mentioned, and none of them were named Mike. And even if there was a Mike, why the hell would his name have a heart emoji next to it? My fingers hovered over the screen for a moment. I tapped the call log. Last outgoing call? Mike. Last incoming call? Mike. Multiple missed calls, all from today. My mouth went dry. Danielle had been at work all day. When did she have time for all these calls? And why so many with this same guy? I swallowed hard and tapped over to the messages. Our car system had this feature that synced messages from a connected phone, letting you read them right on the dashboard. As soon as the screen refreshed, the last message was from this same Mike, and it made my blood run cold. "I can still taste you from this morning." Drooling face. My vision blurred for a second, like my brain was rejecting what I was seeing. But it was right there in front of me, plain as day. My hands shook as I scrolled up. More messages synced onto the screen, one after the other. Flirty messages. Plans to meet. Explicit details of what they had done. Some messages were playful. Some were downright disgusting. My stomach twisted at the thought of my wife, doing these things with another man. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a full-blown affair. And just like that, my marriage was over. She just didn't know it yet. I walked back into the house. My mind was still trying to catch up with what I had just seen. I headed straight for the kitchen, grabbed a glass from the cabinet, and poured myself a drink. I wasn't even sure what I had picked. Whiskey, maybe. I just needed something in my system. A few minutes later, Danielle walked in. I heard her before I saw her, the soft sound of her slippers against the floor. She came to a stop just behind me, and I could feel her looking at me. I knew she was about to ask something. "Why didn't you go?" she asked, her voice casual but with a slight edge to it. I didn't turn around. I took another sip before answering. "I don't feel too well and can't drive at this stage." My voice came out steady, and I knew she'd pick up on that. I finally turned to look at her. She was watching me, her eyes narrowing, just a little like she was trying to read something off my face. But then, she just nodded. "All right," she said simply, before turning and walking away. That night, after she had gone to bed, I sat in the living room, staring at the glow of my laptop screen. I logged into our phone bill account. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, but deep down, I already knew what I was about to find. And there it was. Dozens of calls to Mike. Some just a few minutes long, others stretching past an hour. The timestamps told the full story, calls at odd hours. And texts? Endless. I scrolled through the records, and it all started clicking into place. She hadn't been in the mood for intimacy lately, always brushing me off with some excuse, too tired, too stressed, not feeling it. I had accepted it, thinking it was just a rough patch. And then there was her phone. I had noticed the change, but never thought much of it until now. She never left it face up anymore. Always screen down, always locked the second she set it down, never in reach when I was nearby. Everything suddenly made sense. Danielle was sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that everything between us had already ended. I kept thinking about the years we had spent together, the way we met. I had sacrificed, adjusted, and grown, all because I believed in us. How could she come home, kiss me, smile at me, make dinner with me, knowing full well she had just been with another man? The thought made my stomach twist. I knew I couldn't stay here. Not one more night. Not one more morning of waking up beside a woman who had been lying to my face. My second anniversary was hours away, and I had spent weeks planning a surprise for her. I bought roses and chocolates and wrote a heartfelt letter. I had planned to make her feel loved. But she didn't deserve love. She deserved to know that I knew, that I saw her for what she really was. Carefully, in the early hours of the morning of our anniversary, I slipped out of bed. I walked over to my closet and pulled out the small box where I had kept everything for the anniversary. The roses, the chocolates, the letter I had written when I still believed in us. I sat down at the desk and tore it in half. I grabbed a fresh sheet of paper and started writing. I told her I knew she was cheating. Told her she made her choice. And now I'm making mine. I told her not to call me, not to text me, and my lawyer will be in touch for the divorce. I placed the letter on the table and set the wedding ring on top of it. I added the box of chocolates I got for her before the discovery and a single rose, not as a gesture of love, but as a reminder of what she had destroyed. I walked to the closet, pulled out a bag, and quietly packed a few essentials. Then I walked out the door. By the time she woke up, I would be long gone. Later that morning, my phone was already buzzing. I didn't even need to check the screen to know who it was. Danielle. I ignored the first few calls. Then the messages started rolling in one after the other. "Bradley, what is this? I don't understand. Where are you? Please talk to me." I let the phone keep ringing. It didn't take long before the pressure started coming from other angles. At first it was just her, but soon my phone started lighting up with calls from mutual friends. She must have reached out to them, feeding them some half-baked version of the story to make herself look like the victim. One friend, Eric, was the first to try. "Hey man, Danielle just called me. She's freaking out. She says you just up and left. What's going on?" I could hear the concern in his voice, but I wasn't in the mood to explain myself. "I don't want to talk about it right now," I said. But Eric wasn't one to let things go. "Brad, come on. You guys have been together for years. Whatever this is, I'm sure you can work it out." I almost laughed at how naive he sounded. People on the outside always think they understand, that everything can be fixed with a simple conversation. Eventually, I got tired of the calls and decided to shut it down. I picked one person, my cousin Mark. I told him everything. I didn't sugarcoat it, didn't soften the blow. I told him about the texts, the calls, the late-night conversations with Mike, the disgusting message that shattered everything. There was silence on the other end for a moment, then a deep sigh. "Damn, man. I'm sorry." That was it. The moment Danielle realized that someone else knew the full truth, the tone of her messages changed. The fake confusion disappeared. The denial vanished. Now, the desperation kicked in. She called nonstop, and sent paragraphs of texts. Bradley, please, we can fix this. I don't want to lose you. Each message felt emptier than the last. She wasn't sorry about what she did. She was sorry that I found out. She wasn't devastated that she hurt me. She was panicked because she lost the stability that came with our marriage. If I hadn't caught her, she would still be sneaking around with Mike, still coming home and kissing me like nothing was wrong. That's what made me sick to my stomach. I ignored her messages, but then days later she did something I didn't expect. She found out where I was staying. To this day, I still don't know how. I was in the middle of pouring myself a drink when I heard the knock. I stared at the door for a moment, debating whether to even open it. The moment I opened the door, she practically stumbled inside, eyes already red from crying. Bradley, please, she choked out. Just talk to me. Please. I stayed silent, watching her. I'm messed up, she whispered. I know I did. I hate myself for it. I'm so ashamed. The tears streamed down her face, her voice cracking under the weight of her emotions. I stood there, taking it all in. I let her speak, let her spill out her guilt, her shame, her promises to fix things. And when she was done, I simply said, "Go home, Danielle. Wait for the divorce papers." She looked at me like I had just stabbed her in the chest. No, please don't do this," she sobbed, reaching for me, but I stepped back. "You already did this," I said. "Now you have to live with it." I walked to the door and held it open, waiting. She stood there, shaking her head, silently pleading with her eyes. But I was done. After a long moment, she finally realized there was nothing more she could say. Shoulders slumped, she walked past me and out the door. I shut it behind her without another word. I didn't think I could feel any worse, but then I found out who Mike really was. Mike was her coworker, the man she spent hours with every single day, right under my nose. They were assigned to a work project together, which meant late meetings and shared responsibilities. While I was at home, trusting her, supporting her, and making sure everything was good between us, she was busy building something with another man. And the worst part? She came home every night, looked me in the eyes, and acted like nothing was happening. At that moment, I knew exactly how to destroy them both, but before that, I needed to handle one thing first, ending my marriage. Now, looking back, I've learned a few things from all of this. First, never assume it can't happen to you. I used to think cheating was something that happened to other people. I thought because we were happy. After all, I was loyal, because I gave her no reason to stray, that she wouldn't. But reality doesn't work that way. If someone wants to cheat, they will, and no amount of love or effort can stop them. Second, cheaters don't regret cheating. They regret getting caught. If I never found those messages, Danielle would still be sneaking around, laughing at my cluelessness while I planned our anniversary. She only started begging and crying when she realized she lost me, not because she was truly sorry for what she had done. Third, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I ignored the small signs, the weird gut feelings, and the way she suddenly guarded her phone as if her life depended on it. I brushed it all off because I trusted her. But trust isn't an excuse to be blind. When things don't add up, there's usually a reason. And finally, a relationship without trust is already over. The moment I found those messages, my marriage was done. It didn't matter how much I loved her, how much history we had, or how much I wanted to believe we could fix things. The foundation was cracked beyond repair, and no amount of apologies could change that. Now let me ask you, what would you have done in my situation? Would you have confronted her? Walked away? Gotten revenge? I want to hear your thoughts, so drop them in the comments. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this story with them. You never know who might need this wake-up call.